It is Trash Talking Radio. It is. It is Trash Talking Radio. It is Tuesday night. It's the best night of the week. And welcome back to the show. This time, I'm flying solo, which we haven't had for a while. So it's kind of a different thing for me to go back to being a single person here. There we are. I am. See? I told you. Anyway, so we're going to go back to the way things used to be till next week because Doug couldn't make it tonight. And hold on a sec here. I'm just posting the last link to another site so people can watch along at home and hopefully enjoy the show just as much with one of us as two. There we go. What happened here? Why is my... There we go. Now we're just going right back here to my page. Make sure it's showing up. Oops, that's not my page. Where's my page? Where's my page? All right, it should be here. Let's see. Yep, we got it there. So everyone is ready. So let me open up one more thing. Need to do one more thing, and then I can go right into the show. And I'm going to do it right now. Let's see. Got to remember how to do this. Go here. No, I didn't need to go there. I lied. I want to go to here and then go to Messenger. That way, if anybody has any messages that they want to send me, I can reply to them. So I'm going to do that just in a second here. Let's see. Gotta get this up here. Now I can do that. All right. There we go. All right. Now we got it. All right. Now I'm here. Hopefully everything will go smoothly, except my face is off the screen. Let's get this thing back right. Let's see what happens here. Gotta make my... There we go. One more time. Come on. You can turn it a little bit more. Okay. Well, anyway, how's everybody doing? I'm doing fine, and Doug is not here today because he had to do something that he had to be at. So we got to let him cut him a little slack today. And I'll do this on my own, which means I'm going to do the politics stuff too. Oh boy, aren't you excited? So today's picture of the day is this. This is from a video that I did for an audition for Adidas. And I don't know if I'll get the job or not, but if I do, it'd be really kind of cool because it's all wrapped around the Nittany lion thing, which is kind of cool. So I went up to Penn State Capitol Campus and I did the audition there. And it was fun. It was really fun. But I had to do it on the spot. I had to think of what I was going to do. They didn't give you a real script per se. And they just wanted to see how you could be, creative. And I hope they liked what I did. But I haven't heard back from them yet. But the good news is I got paid yesterday or the day before for the commercial that I did in February for the pawn shop. That was kind of cool. And I was wondering what happened to it because it's been months and I thought it would have been paid a lot quicker, but I didn't until just, like I said, just yesterday, I think it was, or Monday, I think it was. But that's kind of cool because I asked the agent, hey, where's my, can you follow up and let me know what's going on? And she did, and sure enough, I got paid. So that's kind of neat. And let's see, this past weekend, Friday, I did managing and commentary. I did managing. Well, I didn't manage. I walked out to the ring and scouted some talent for, my next acquisition, if you will. And then I went to the commentary for the last match because Rivera was taking on Tommy Grayson. And I have a bone to pick with Alex since he relieved me of my duties. That's it. Relieved me of my duties. So, we kind of got a little thing going on there. But that's not over yet. I just got to kind of, deal with it as I get the stuff going. And eventually, I'll figure it out. So that's the end of that. There's Ann. How you doing? It's good to see you there. And so, but anyway, then Friday, or Saturday, that was Friday. Saturday, my band played for a private gig outside of Mechanicsburg. And it was kind of fun because it was at a house, but they had a pretty big lot in the back. And we played from 6 to 10, which is interesting because we weren't really sure if the township was going to let us play till 10. And we kept like, are you sure we can play? Are you sure? Are you sure we're not going to get in trouble for playing that late? And she goes, I'll pay the fine, just play. So we ended up playing till around 10 o'clock. And actually it was right about 10 o'clock. And it was so dark by that night. We didn't have any lights set up because we didn't expect to play that late. And we went there and had a good time. And we played a whole bunch of new songs that we had not really played before. And we did really well. So it was kind of fun. Well, not kind of fun. It was really fun. If you want to see this video that I did for the Adidas thing, what it is I guess Adidas is doing something in conjunction with Penn State. And so they didn't give me any idea of what they wanted. So here's what I did. I was told that they wanted the person to measure the feet of the lion itself. So here is what it looked like. So we'll get into. All right, here's my. Okay, here we go. This is the video I did for Adidas, and there's no audio, so don't think that I didn't have the audio turned up because there is no audio to turn up. So I walked up, patted the cat on the head. And then I went and you don't know what I'm doing yet, so I'm like, I pull that out, and I measure his feet, and then I measure it another way, and then I measure it another way. By the way, this was all one take. I just zoomed in on certain spots, but it was one take. So I wrote down his measurements, then I went to his back foot, and I did the same thing. Again, it's one long take. And then I wrote everything down once again, and then I looked and I said, that was a good job. And I went and walked around the lion, and I pet him, because what do you do with a Nittany lion? You pet him, and you pet him on the head, and you pet him on the chin, and you snuggle up with him, and then you rub his chin and stuff, and then you go your merry way. And that's what it was. That's what the audition was. It was fun, and I did it, and I did like 6 takes of it before I liked it, and then I ended up. That was it. That was what we did. What I did. I just set the camera up on a tripod, but yeah, it was kind of fun. It was a nice little perk that I got to do, got to play. And it was funny because, there's all these signs that if you're not a student, you shouldn't be on the campus and all that stuff. And that didn't deter me. So it was a lot of fun, though. But yeah, it was fun. And then I got home and I thought, well, how am I going to make this thing work? So I started zooming in on different areas so that people could see what I was doing, not that I was just, because I don't know if you would have noticed the tape measure or what I was doing. So I figured I'd make it a little more obvious with that. So Doug didn't see that yet either, and I'll show that to him later, but that's kind of cool. And we'll see if I get it. I actually, today, there was a couple other auditions. See, I think I like commercials. Commercials are kind of cool because you get paid really, really good money. You don't usually have as many lines, and it's a one-day thing, whereas when you're involved as a talent for a movie or a TV show, you're stuck at that facility and you're paid a whole lot less. So because my goal right now is really to get one of my TV shows going. I don't want to be tied up in somebody else's TV show if I don't have to be. So that's my philosophy at this point. Just kind of figure it would be better if I did that, and then, we'll see if I'll take an acting job either way, but I don't want to drive a long distance to do, like for instance, I saw one that was in just around, it was about 4 hours away, and the pay was like $500. So it would take me 8 hours of driving, plus whatever time it takes to film it, just to get out of there. And I thought, if I can do that, I can get paid better in commercials for shorter time, and like the ones that I did were relatively close to here, so I didn't really have to go very far, and I got paid better. So that's my thought pattern. And because a lot of these things are one-time shots, like a lot of the TV things that I've done and the movie stuff that I've done, the movie things, like for instance The Youngest Partisan, I think I got paid like $400, maybe $500, but it was for 2 days, so $250 a day. Let's say $250 a day. Whereas when I did the pawn shop thing, I got paid $400 for 3 hours, and it was local, so I didn't have to go anywhere. So that kind of makes me rethink my strategy, because, like I said, my big goal here is to get my stuff sold. So if I keep doing commercials, and if I could find enough commercials to do, it makes more sense to do commercials, and then I can concentrate on selling my stuff. Because I got a lot of projects, and if one of those projects lands, I'm going to be busy as anything. So I don't know that I want to tie myself up too much. I mean, I'd take a good job anywhere, but I kind of want to do things that I wrote, if I can, because that, like Flocked, I think has got a lot of legs, and I think that could be a 5 to 7 year project. So I don't want to tie myself up for anything that isn't that kind of time. I mean, I will, because obviously I'm in the business and I don't want to turn any work down, but I kind of think that I've decided my strategy. So anyway, all right, it's time to start the show. Paramount's back in the movies, Paramount's back in the news again. So the Paramount proposed $111 billion takeover of Warner Brothers has been cleared to be sold. Finally, after all this time, it's been cleared. I thought that was never going to happen the way we were going. We just keep coming back, and every week it was some reason that they weren't cleared. And so I kind of am excited that it's finally cleared. We don't want to hear that anymore. I don't care anymore. I'm beyond caring, because they just go with all these reasons not to clear them. And they're finally cleared. So now we can see what's going to really happen with that. So that's good to know. But so that deal's finally going to go through. And I had another article on it. I just don't know where it's at, so I'm not going to worry about it, because the big news is that they were cleared. And finally, we'll get to finally stop talking about them and talk about other things. So that is that. It says here, cleared by to close the acquisition by regulators. I'm sorry, that was by regulators in Australia and New Zealand. In its decision, the the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission concluded that the mega deals was unlikely to have an effect of substantially lessening competition. So, and that's what I've said all along. I mean, I don't know what the big deal was with it. I did have another article, and I'll probably run across it as we go. Now the big World Cup begins. That's where my second commercial is going to show up on TV. I'm excited about that. So when that World Cup thing comes to the ending, my commercial is supposed to be in the last game. So that's when I'll see my actual performance, hopefully, unless I got cut. I did get paid for it, though, so I don't know. I don't think I'll get cut. So the FIFA World Cup kicks off and runs through July 19th. That's probably the day that mine's going to play, is July 19th. Across the U.S., Mexico, Canada. Host nation Mexico opens the tournament against South Africa's Bafana at the historic Estadio Azteca in Mexico City at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So, yeah, they have a really pretty big schedule with this stuff. And as soon as this comes up, we'll be able to talk about it. Let's see what they got here. I think this is the page I looked at earlier. Oh, this isn't the page I looked at earlier. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, so this is really interesting to me to see all these countries that have teams, and actually in there is Iran, which is interesting because Iran's got to be careful what they do and say while they're playing here, or else they'll be probably killed. So here was yesterday's. Iran took on New Zealand. Saudi Arabia took on Uruguay. Belgium took on Egypt. Spain took on Cabo Verde. I don't see any of the USA stuff. Wonder why. Wonder if they're only going to see USA in the USA. But they're going to... You could see these tickets. These ticket prices are horribly bad. I wouldn't want to be a soccer fan and go live. It's kind of like wrestling. I wouldn't go to a live wrestling event because they're so expensive. So this is a big step for us to be in this World Cup thing. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Might be interesting to see. I don't see any USA stuff in here. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but maybe it's only when they're in the USA that they'll see the USA stuff. Looks cool though. I was thinking about that when I was in college. Soccer was really making trying to make its way in the United States, and there weren't a lot of United States people that were into that at that point. And I kept saying, what is the point of this again? And I had a friend that was really into this stuff, and I just didn't get it. I mean, all these kicking of the balls and things like that. I thought, well, is that really what we want to see? And apparently it is. I understood football. I understood, baseball, but I just didn't get soccer too much. So, I do understand it a little bit more now because I've seen that it's had a lot more. It was a lot bigger in every other country but ours, and we just seem to adopt it late. So it's going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue to have a great following, and something I just didn't get because why can't you use your hands? So I'm old-fashioned. I like to use my hands, not my feet for everything. But we'll see. It's got a lot of people that want to watch it, so we'll see what happens. Spain and France enter as favorites to lift the iconic 18-karat gold trophy. Though the winning team does not keep it, 8 or more trophy facts here that we can actually look at. Let's see. Wait a minute, I should have had that up. These are the FIFA 10 facts. So, what do you know about soccer? And I don't know much about soccer. I know that when my friend used to play around in college when they used to kick the ball and then bounce it off their head and bounce it off their knee. And I thought that was a cool bar trick, but I didn't realize how, Now we're talking, when I say this, I sound like an idiot, and I probably am, but back then, that was back in 1980, and so we didn't know anything about soccer then. Just these kids did, but I didn't know anything about soccer. I didn't get it, but I thought it was amazing they could keep the ball going as long as they could, but I just didn't get it. I do now. I kind of get it now, and but it's still not something that I'm really interested in. Okay, these are the top 10 facts about the World Cup trophy and stuff like that. The trophy is made of 18-karat gold. That's the first one. There have been 2 versions of the trophy. Well, yeah, that one there is a really nice one, and that one there is kind of wimpy. The trophy was hidden in a shoebox throughout World War II. The FIFA Vice President Torino Borrassi secretly took out the trophy from one of Rome's bank vaults. Why? To prevent it from falling into the wrong hands, or in their eyes, the hands of occupying forces. He then hid the trophy in his shoebox under a bed for the remainder of the war. Well, that makes sense. I guess I should look at, there have been 2 versions of the trophy, what that's all about. The trophy that we see today isn't the original. The first commission was the Jules Rimet trophy, named after the first FIFA president, made of gold-plated sterling silver and consisted of a 10-sided cup supported by a winged figure representing Nike, the ancient Greek goddess of victory. After Brazil won its 3rd title in 1970, the team kept the trophy, leading FIFA to commission what is now the FIFA World Cup trophy that we now see. The version we now see was first lifted in 1974 by host West Germany. And what does the other one say? Oh, okay. Paired with 2 layers of green malishi on the base, the trophy's total weight was 6.142 kilograms, which is about 13.6 pounds. While the inside of the trophy was hollow, the incredible value of the gold content alone equals just over 5 kilograms, or nearly 11 pounds of pure gold. I didn't know that. That's a lot of gold, which would be around around $550,000 as of April 2026. Or, of course, no one would dare sell one of these sports' most sought-after trophies. Yeah, you wouldn't really get away with it. The trophy was stolen twice. In March 1966, the trophy was taken from an exhibition in London. Miraculously, a dog named Pickles sniffed out a package wrapped in newspaper while on a walk with his owner. The trophy happened to be sitting there, and Pickles became a hero to fans across the world. It says England won its first and only men's title months later, and Pickles was invited to the celebration as a reward. That is the happiest dog ever, because he probably had all kinds of cool food to eat. The Jules Rimet trophy was again stolen in 1983 while displayed at the Brazilian Football Confederation headquarters in Rio de Janeiro. Brazil then commissioned a replacement replica of the trophy with only one section of the original ever officially recovered. That's got to be crazy to to think that everybody wants to steal this. Well, of course, the trophy's worth a lot of money, but I don't know what you would do with it since everybody would be looking for it. A replica trophy was bought for $400,000 after the 1966 theft. England's Football Association created a replica trophy that would be used for public exhibition while the real one was kept safe. In 1997, FIFA bought the replica at an auction for $400,000. The replica is now England's National Football Museum in Manchester. And I think it's funny that we have football, like football, the way that Americans play football, and everybody else has soccer, and they call it football. So, I don't know. I guess that's us copying them, but it's funny. And actually, technically, I guess football would be their sport because, I mean, you do it all with your feet, so that makes sense. The real trophy's home is in Switzerland. The company that wins the whole tournament takes home an entirely different version of the World Cup trophy, known as the World Cup Winners' Trophy. The main one is housed in the FIFA Museum, which is located in Zurich, Switzerland. Zurich. That's my German accent. The trophy gets an update. It says the pate at the base. I think that's supposed to be plate. The pate at the base of the trophy gets removed after each winner, with it going to the FIFA Museum. A new one is added to the trophy, with the name of the latest winner joining the previous champions in a spiral arrangement to accommodate future winners. The Germany team damaged the trophy. They probably played football with it. After their 2014 World Cup win, Germany partied in Berlin so hard that they managed to damage the trophy. Wolfgang Norbach, the president of the German FA, admitted that a small piece of the trophy was chipped off. Luckily, the winner's trophy, not the original, that remains in Switzerland. Handle with care. The trophy travels in style, probably better than we travel. The trophy does occasionally travel, but it's carefully handled by agents to ensure that there's no damage when in transport. When it does hit the road, it is for events such as the World Cup Trophy Tour or the World Cup Draw. It makes an appearance at the final. And lastly, the trophy has a no-touch custom. There is an unofficial custom that players follow in which one should never touch the trophy before the final. However, the real rules are actually much stricter. Only World Cup winners and heads of state can touch the authentic gold trophy with their bare hands. Everyone else is required to wear gloves. Well, that guy didn't wear gloves. That means his hands should be cut off. So, there you go. That's the story of the World Cup. Well, at least 10 facts about the World Cup. So if you ever wondered, there you go. All right, next story. Hold on here. Gonna delete that. All right. Sean Diddy Combs, accused of sexually assaulting an unidentified child actor in 2007. Combs denies allegations filed in California this week. Boy, those rappers, man, they just can't keep their hands off kids. I just don't understand. But yeah, I don't know. Of course, he's already in jail, right? But anyway, disgraced hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs, convicted last year for prostitution-related offenses, is being hit with another series of allegations that he sexually assaulted a minor. In a lawsuit filed this week in California, an unidentified former child actor accused Combs of sexually assaulting him during a networking event in Hollywood Hills in May 2007. Defendant Combs' conduct was outrageous, intended to terrorize and cause him emotional distress, and did in fact cause him emotional distress. The assault was so extreme to go beyond the bound of decency and to be regarded intolerable by civilized society, according to the lawsuit. A spokesman for Combs, now serving a 50-month sentence, called the allegations false and ridiculous. I don't know. There's not much that would surprise me at this point with the allegations towards him. He didn't seem like he was a very upstanding young man at the time. It says here they call him false and ridiculous. He's just another hater in a long line list of people trying to get in the money, gravy train, encouraged by personal injury lawyers. Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, and that includes any child. These allegations will be disproved like all the rest. So, I don't know about that. I think he's got, when you get 1, 2, 3, even 3 is a lot, but even if you get 1, it may not be true. 2, may not be true. 3, it may not be false. 4, it probably isn't false. I mean, that's just, you just have it over and over again. I mean, this guy, I can't believe how many things that he thought he was untouchable, and he thought he wouldn't go to jail. He thought for sure this wasn't going to happen to him. But I'm telling you, people like him, you just don't know. People like him deserve everything they get. One thing I didn't do, I guess I will do the birthdays because I don't have Doug here. I can do them by myself. Oh, I didn't actually make it. Oh, I didn't have that many. I'll just hold them for next week. Yeah, I think I'll just hold them for next week. I didn't have that many, so I'll just add them because they're kind of, the ones that I do have are pretty good. So I want to make sure I have a good thing to do on those. All right, next. I'm going to get back to where I was. Where are you? Okay, so that one's done. Okay. Now, this is interesting to me, mostly because I have a fascination with full self-driving cars. Waymo develops a computer model to predict how people behave in a crash and near-crash scenarios, helping its robotaxis better avoid potential collisions. That, to me, is very valuable information because I use my full self-driving all the time. And it's interesting that they actually track all the stuff that my car does, and they actually track how much of it I use in full self-driving versus regular driving. And I think I'm at 90% full self-driving because it's so safe. I don't see any real reason. Like when I'm doing these long drives, it'll take a lot out of you to do these long drives, especially when I come home late at night. But you still have to be awake and you still have to be paying attention. But it's nice not to have to feel that pressure of everything. It makes it so much nicer. If you haven't tried it, if you haven't really dealt with that, it makes a world of difference when I don't have to, like, I tend to relax more. I tend to not drive as fast. I tend to really show up at my destination much more relaxed. And to me, that's really important because if I'm going to an event and I'm going to be performing at an event, I'd like to be relaxed. I don't want to be on edge. And I'd say 99% of the time, it's better than the people on the road. The car takes its time. It doesn't, there's different settings. The setting I run on most often is the basic setting. I mean, there's they have a setting for people that like to go fast. But the thing is, I like to keep it where it's sticking, around the speed limit. Like, for instance, I do most of my big driving on the turnpike, and it's a 70-mile-an-hour turnpike, so I like to stay around 75 because you can I've never had an issue with a ticket at that speed. Although I did get a ticket for going 66 in a 55, which really irritated me. But if you're thinking of, that situation, 66 in a 55, yeah, I guess I deserved that, but I didn't do that. That was set on the self-driving, and it just went over the rate because I think I was passing someone at the time. But it made me adjust the settings, so that won't happen in the future, hopefully. So the Tesla has a couple different modes. One sloth mode. One is chill mode. Then there's standard mode. Now I'm on standard mode most of the time. Standard mode is just someone that does the speed limit or somewhere around there. So I do standard mode at 5 miles above. Then there's what's the next mode? There's standard mode. Then there's hurry mode. And then there is the top mode, which is get out of my way mode. No, it's I can't remember what it is off the top of my... it's called Mad Max mode. And I don't run Mad Max mode for the most part. I mean, I do occasionally hit it. But that's because I don't really use the pedal. I have a wheel on the steering wheel. So if I want to speed up because of a situation or slow down because of a situation, I don't hit the brakes. I just use that wheel to go faster or slower. So that's one thing. But I really think that the idea of the whole thing is the cameras and everything keep track of everything as we're going. So that's why it's so safe, because I don't have to worry about, if you come towards me, say you move over into my lane, my car's going to see that before I even see it, and it's going to take evasive action if it needs to, and it keeps an eye on it. It's really smart. I really appreciate that, and one of the reasons I got the car is that as I get older, we're going to have issues with timing. My response to everything when I was 10 years younger is faster than it is now. And in 10 years, it's going to be slower than it is now. So, the thing is, I want to keep driving as long as I can. And with something like that, I can do that. So it's cool. And that's the reason I really, really appreciate it, is I want to be able to drive as long as I can. I'm terrified. I don't want to ever become a driver like my grandfather was when I rode with him the last time that I rode with him, because I was terrified. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to have to worry about, am I going to hit somebody? You still have to pay attention. But as the car gets smarter, I don't have to be smarter, and I don't have to be as good. So the car is getting really smart by itself, so let's keep it that way. All right, now let's go to the next thing. Okay, that could be interesting. Galaxy-killing wind that blows away fuel for new stars may explain why astronomers, yeah. Why does it say astronomers? Could be right. Have found an unexpected number of dead galaxies in the early universe. Kind of looks neat. Looks like a bird. Looks like a bird. There's the two wings, and there's the bird itself, and there's the head. An artist impression of galaxy crystal 02 with a huge plume of cold gas extending away from it. This plume is almost as long as the galaxy itself, which, okay, it says astronomers would have disclosed a galaxy-killing wind. It may explain why there are why there are far more massive dead galaxies than expected in the early universe. This wind, powered by cosmic collisions of galaxies, could quickly blow away all of the fuel for the new stars, leaving the new galaxy on the brink of death. What? Oh, leaving the galaxy, not the new galaxy, on the brink of death, and helping to solve one of the biggest mysteries in modern astrophysics. The theory is much simpler than some of the other explanations put forward since 2022, when the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, gave us our first clear glimpse of an early universe. Among them was the dark energy, which may have been stronger in the universe, the early universe, than current theories predict, allowing galaxies to grow and die faster. Maybe. And, I mean, that's as good of a thesis as anybody else has ever said. I don't know. That telescope can do some pretty cool stuff, though. I mean, it sees pretty far away. So I think it would be interesting that that they came up with. I think it's interesting if they came up with that. I think the idea of the time frame of the universe stayed. Yeah, it is fascinating, but I mean, really, for the most part, most of us will never get to see a current situation. I think when it happens, when something like that happens, we're not going to see it till after way beyond its. I mean, because we may not have seen this galaxy that they were looking at until who knows how millions of years went by before we saw the remnants of it. And the next one that does it, we may not even see that, because it's just so the time that we would see it would be way after it was done. I don't know. That's just a little thing here. Inside it's okay. So we got an Epstein article here. Inside the world of Epstein's assistant, Sophia Elmhurst, when Jeffrey Epstein's assistant got pregnant, he bought her a Mercedes and a nanny so she wouldn't quit. She spent nearly 20 years at his side, appeared in over 150,000 times in the Department of Justice files, and just testified before Congress. Now, he died quite a while ago, so I just kind of, I mean, I think they're trying to probably pin as much stuff on people that are left. I don't know. Just seems kind of weird to, go on, and I don't know if she gotten any heat or not. No one's name appears in the Epstein files more than Leslie Groff, his assistant. Reading through the thousands of emails, a troubling question arises. What did she know? I don't know. She did not know. Leslie Groff, longtime executive assistant to Jeffrey Epstein, has always claimed that she knew nothing of his crimes. Complicity requires knowledge. To be legally complicit in a crime, you have to know you're helping to commit a crime. To be morally complicit, the bar is lower. You don't even have to play an active part. To have knowledge of the crime and do nothing is enough. And how do we know? Went up too far. How do we know what someone knows? I think all the times I've closed my eyes or shut down a thought or turned away from something wrong, large or small, a planet-level ecological harm or sub-5er theft in a supermarket right in front of me. Surely I say to myself, someone else will do something. It's not my fault or my responsibility. I'm too inconsequential to make a difference here. That could be her true thought of all this too, because, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure what to think of this whole thing because she may be guilty, but I don't think we're ever going to know. I don't think that it's not that in the forefront, at least as far as I would know. I don't know. I just think that they're just reaching for anybody that they can get attached to this thing since he's gone. And he died in such a weird way. I think a lot of people wanted him dead just so that their names wouldn't come out. But, okay, so it says Groff met with a headhunter and he told her that there was a job organized to organize one man's life. This man was Epstein, a Manhattan socialite. Groff had never heard of Epstein before. I never heard of him before he got in all this trouble. Leslie Groff had never planned to be an assistant. After college at the University of Texas in Dallas, she moved to New Jersey with her first husband, worked for an office supplies company for 9 years, divorced, worked as a salesperson at the department store Nordstrom, met her second husband at a triathlon, and then decided she wanted to find work as an events planner on Wall Street. In 2001, a headhunter found her resume on Monster. Oh, I remember Monster. I don't know if I ever applied on Monster, but I do remember Monster. And says here she was then in her 30s with an interview to be an assistant to a wealthy financier. For the interview, Groff went to Epstein's offices on the fourth floor of the 457 Madison Avenue. Part of the Villard houses, a set of elegant 19th century brownstone residences built around a courtyard, also home to a luxury hotel. She met Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein, whose phone kept ringing during the interview. He would talk briefly, then hang up, and Groff came away with the impression of a vibrant, hectic workplace. Yeah, I worked in a hectic workplace like that. I was on phones all day for 30 years of my life. Of course, it wasn't selling sex. It wasn't buying sex. It was, for me, it was just a lot of computer stuff. So, I don't know. It's just weird. For the interview, Groff went to Epstein's offices on... Oh, wait a minute. Did we say that? Then hang up? Okay. Once she got the job, Groff was given her own office and worked alongside Epstein's team of assistants, lawyers, and a trader who together managed his money and life. Some years later, she moved to work from his home, a 7-story townhouse on East 71st Street near Fifth Avenue, where a life-size sculpture of a woman in a white wedding dress clutching a rope hung in the central hallway. That's got to be a weird thing. You know, how do you tell your boyfriend or husband or whatever that you're going to work for this guy? I guess it depends what kind of money she was making, but, Groff was in charge of Epstein's calendar, making his appointments, setting up his calls. When she started the job, Maxwell had told her that Epstein had a massage every day. Epstein would call Groff in the morning, order her to call X and see if she could do a massage at 4, and then continue to call her every 15 minutes until it was fixed. If Groff was unable to get X, he'd tell her to call Y. In response to questions about these appointments, her lawyer, Michael Bachner, told her during the employment, Leslie never witnessed or was told of anything illegal related to these massages. Groff worked for Epstein for 18 years, from 2001 until his arrest in 2019. No criminal charges have ever been brought against her or anyone else connected to Epstein apart from Maxwell. Since Epstein's death in 2019, Groff has remained almost invisible and spoken only through her lawyers. Recent photographs have shown her going to Pilates or walking her dog near her home in Connecticut. Off-duty and low-key. Compared to the royals, politicians, billionaires, professors who were featured in the Epstein files, Groff is low status, non-celebrity, with no public reputation, and so I just think they're just grabbing for something to say that somebody did something, and they haven't been successful finding anybody other than, Epstein himself. So I think that it's kind of weird, but I don't know what she would have done. I mean, other than the fact that I think they should just let her alone. I don't really, I don't know that she was making a lot of money, but there was something in there that when she was trying to, I'd read that she tried to quit a couple times when she had her kids, and then Epstein bought her or rented her or whatever, got her a nanny and stuff like that. And I just think that they're just trying to throw anything her way. I don't know. I think, even if she was guilty, I don't really think that anybody's talking, and they're just kind of grabbing for anything. So I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. I'm looking here. Oh, here we go. Epstein knew Groff was competent, but his emails rarely recognized her efforts beyond an occasional curt thanks. Instead, he showed his appreciation with money. And in the New York Times interview, he revealed that when Groff announced she was pregnant in 2004, he offered to pay a nanny and bought her a new car to ease her commute from Connecticut. There's no way I could lose Leslie to motherhood, he said. According to a payroll document, he also doubled her salary from $60,000 in 2004 to $120,000 in 2005. There were perks. In 2014, Epstein emailed Groff offering a Florida holiday, my style, 5-star hotel, the whole works. Groff's husband, Ike, forwarded the email to someone else. Seriously, the best boss ever. On Valentine's Day 2018, Epstein bought her and some other assistants glam squad appointments where stylists would come to their home, do their hair, makeup. Too sweet, wrote Groff. Once in 2015, she got to tour his private plane, ride his helicopter, take a boat to his private Caribbean island, Little St. James, before staying at a luxury hotel. The heli was one of the best parts, she wrote in a group email. See, in this stuff, it doesn't tell me she didn't do anything wrong. And it doesn't say that they haven't said anything that they found that she did anything wrong. So, I don't know. I think I'd let her alone. Doesn't sound like she has been doing anything except what she said she was going to do. Just seems like, they're looking for someone else to throw in jail since he killed himself, or allegedly killed himself. So, regardless, all right, let's do something else here. What's the safest swimsuit color? I was going to save this for Doug, because I know he's an expert on things like that. Not really, but he's probably as good of an expert as I am, which is not at all. So here we go. What's the safest swimsuit color ever? So they're talking about swimsuit colors like if you're in the water and you get stuck with stuck in the riptide or something. You got to be able to see the person. And so the safest ones, according to this chart, let me see if I can make this. I probably can't make it any bigger. Let's try it. Nope. Well, maybe I can. Hold on. Maybe we'll be able to. Nope. Doesn't look like it. Oh, here we go. Okay, so in the water, as you can see, there's certain colors that are transparent. Like if you look at this white one and this white one, you almost can't see it. And some of these you can't see very well. So according to this, the visibility, vivid orange and super bright highlighter yellow are two standout colors for swim safety. So let's see if we, here's the yellow. Oh, super bright highlighter yellow. I guess I don't really see that as, I mean, that one I see is definitely a standout. I also see this one as a standout. So, and black seems to be a standout pretty well. But that's what they are. So, yeah, those are the ones. I wanted to ask Doug if he knew, and then that would be a big test for him. See, he passed. He was smart. He he took today off, which had a lot of stuff I had geared towards him. So I'm not going to say this one yet, though. I think I'll keep that one for next week. So Porsche turned out toy store colors into real cars, and they're supposedly pretty cool. So let's take a look at what we got. Here we go. Buzz, Jesse, and Woody each get their own custom 911s, Porsche 911s, ahead of the premiere of Toystory. So, oh, here we go again. Disable your ad thing. Let me see if I can disable that. I never seem to do it right. Let's try it. Okay, that looks like it worked. Okay, so that would be... All right, let's see. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens here. It didn't play.
Porsche made 3 Toy Story cars, and they're all really cool with a lot of details. This is the first one. This is the Buzz Lightyear GT3 RS, and the first thing I saw is the...
Okay, I would think that one is pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. I would, that one.
air strakes in his buttons. That's really cool. Down here, the tires are custom. They're Lightyear tires with an actual tread pattern on the...
Those are low profile tires too, because take a look at how high up they are. Yeah, that's I kind of like that. But they look like they're bald. I mean, they're not a lot of tread on those tires. That's interesting to me. That they don't have a lot of tread. So that means racing tires. Of course, they would be racing tires because they're kind of made for that. I don't even know if they're... Well, the 911 would say that they're probably... I don't know if they're meant to be for on the I don't know. Maybe they're meant for street, but I'm telling you, they look more like a racing tire.
These are molded in, and they have a bunch of Pixar references all over them, like Toy Story 5. They have A113 over here somewhere, which is a reference to the studio. All a bunch of cool little details. Both the front and rear tires are like that. The interior is also fully custom to look like Buzz. It's all this just incredible amounts of detail. This is the Woody 911 Carrera T, so it's a manual 911, which is correct, but it has this distressed, like, denim-looking paint that's really cool. They layered 3 different kind of blues on top, and they sort of sanded it down to get this pattern. They laid jeans over.
The 3 different colors of the paint is really kind of cool because it looks like, almost looks like it wasn't done on purpose, but it was done professionally, so it was done on purpose, but it really looks kind of cool.
To make sure it's just right. Is the jet...
Like, if you, I don't know, can I back this up? I don't think I can back it up, but you could see it on the fender that had the 3 colors side by side.
T 911 GTS 4 Targa.
Oh, the girl gets a convertible, of course.
This is a lot of custom paint, but the interior is stunning on this thing.
That is really
And where
cool.
it says Targa normally, it says Jesse. But look at this interior.
Look at that. That looks cool. They don't make that many convertibles that are like that. Because a lot of the things are, because they don't make a lot of convertibles anymore because they, you know, the safety and all that of those. If you flip it or whatever, you don't have any protection.
It has this like leather patterning, the cow hide. And then wait, which car is it? It's the Woody car. Come over here. One last thing. Come over here to the Woody car. Last thing. Last thing is, oh my God, hold on, the shift knob. is his star. Oh my God! Wait, the interior.
Oh yeah, look at the. If you look
It's
at the
all
floor
like-
mats,
it's all
the
like-
floor mats are kind of cool because it's got a Western motif.
Woody, that's so sick. Okay, anyway, sorry.
Right there.
If you look at the
see the
key
cowboy
on the Woody
right
car, it
there.
has a little sheriff badge on it
Right there.
because, of course, Woody's the sheriff. And my last and favorite detail is the Mobile One Pegasus, except it's his horse.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so cute. And these cars are so cool.
Very cool. I understand that. And you know what? I kind of like the... I don't know who would buy them, but they would probably get quite a bit of money for them if they were to sell those as a once in a, you know, like limited sales of those. That would be kind of cool, because those kind of like specialty things you could resell time and time again. But if you have one of one, they're obviously worth more than that. So I kind of like that. I wouldn't buy one, but because they're gas cars, and I'm all about electric cars, but still kind of cool. All right. So apparently there is such a thing as a right-pawed or a left-pawed dog, and I didn't quite understand that there was. I mean, I can't really think that there'd be a whole lot of those, but I mean, okay, who cares is actually what I guess I wanted to say. You know, my dogs, I never really thought about it, but I don't think it really makes a whole lot of difference if they're right-pawed or left-pawed. But they tell you a way that you can find out. Anyone experiencing caring for dogs knows no two pups are quite alike. I've never found dogs that were alike at all. Some play for hours, some are couch potatoes, some are fearless protectors, some tremble at the sight of a vacuum cleaner. And just as humans can be right-handed or left-handed, canine companions often show a distinct preference for one paw over the other. In dogs, this asymmetry is known as laterality. Doesn't stop at paws. They even use different nostrils to sniff different scents. Dogs are appealing animals for model for scientists seeking clues into our own laterality. Laterality? Yeah, I guess that's right. But our canine pals make tricky subjects because their preferences change depending on the task at hand. Over the years, scientists have used different ways to measure paw preference. So they're working on trying to find out the consistency they can get out of the dogs. I personally think that it's unimportant, but you know, it's not like you have to buy your dogs left and right toys or whatever. But so it says here, the first when we talk about laterality, we talk about two aspects. The first is the direction. You can be either left-handed, right-handed, or ambilateral. There's also an important aspect, which is strength. How much are you right-handed? How much you left-handed? I'm really totally right-handed. I mean, I do things with my left hand, but for the most part, I think I'm mostly right-handed. So it says this aspect is very important because there's evidence that both direction and strength are physiology, immune response, and behavior in dogs. For example, there's evidence that the left-pawed dogs are more pessimistic and take fewer risks. They appear to mount a weaker immune response to rabies vaccinations. Right-pawed dogs trained to herd sheep display more aggressive behavior towards the animals. I had a border collie, and she was definitely aggressive towards herding, and she loved to play, and you couldn't turn that switch off. She was very adamant that you were going to play with her. She used to take her frisbee, she carried it around, and she'd jam it into your back of your leg and stuff to make you pay attention. But I just, I don't know that is a left-handed or right-handed, because she kept it in her mouth when she jammed it up the back of your leg. So, yeah, I just wonder, if there's any truth to what they're saying, but it's kind of funny because, I don't know. I think that it's, I guess it could be that. I don't know. Seems kind of weird, but by analyzing the number of left paw and right paw usages across the different trials for different tests, we calculated one score for direction and one for strength. So, okay, let's see what the tests are. The Kong test. All right, wonder what let's see what the Kong test is. Okay, you can see he's using his right paw. Now he's using his left paw. That one's using his right paw. Left paw. I never really paid that close of attention to it, to the left paw, right paw thing. Interesting. Probably should take the music down so that they can't get me for sound. Stationary first stepping test. Okay, so that one would be left-footed. That's left as well. That one's left as well. That's 3 left. I don't know. I wish my dogs were that well behaved. It says here, we want to study the effects of age and dog breed on paw preference. One of our colleagues also recently reported a mirroring effect between a dog's paw preference and its owner's handedness. Okay, well that would make sense, because if he's on your right side, he might be more, I don't know. It's kind of weird. And their sleeping positions, it says. I don't know, that stuff is something that you got to keep in, you should keep in mind as to whether or not that's a possibility with your dog. I don't know. I think maybe it might be, but it's hard to say. It's a hypothesis. All right, next one. Okay. We have Hershey Park here in Pennsylvania. Actually, it's about 30 minutes or so away from here. And there was apparently there was a big issue recently where 55 teens were charged in Hershey Park opening day brawl. Now, when I go to a park, last thing I want to do is get into a fight. But apparently, there were kids that definitely got into the fight. Over 50 kids and teenagers have been charged with a massive brawl that broke out during Hershey Park's opening day. It forced families to shield their children and hide under tables. 55 people, including 53 minors, whose ages were between 12 and 19, have been involved in multiple fights across the iconic Pennsylvania theme park on April 3rd. It's such a shame. I mean, you go to a place like that, you're supposed to have fun. You're not supposed to, like, get into felonies, and that's just crazy. I mean, how do you find those 50 kids that did it too? How do you figure out who they were? Well, it says here, officials said that 2 different groups, Group A and Group B, were caught on security footage arguing in one section of the park before the clash turned physical, blowing up into a full brawl just after 6:51 p.m., just over an hour before closing time. Well, yeah, that could be a problem. 55, so, wow. That's crazy. Oh, man. I can't imagine, like, being a parent. And what are you fighting over? I just don't get it. I mean, I know those lines get long and people, get a little impatient, but just crazy that they couldn't, one of the fights spilled over to one of the roller coasters where at least a dozen youngsters grappled and punched each other as a large crowd gathered around them, filming the fracas next to the roller coaster tracks. Again, it's supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to be looking for trouble. The violent squabble forced park staff to shut down the coaster. These actions caused serious inconvenience to Hershey Park staff and patrons to the park. This caused an emergency stop to the Sky Rush ride. Some of the fighting teens had been kicked out by police at the side gate, but re-entered the park at the main gate and got into another fight around 7:30. After an investigation, they filed charges for disorderly and assaultive behavior by numerous youths that included simple assault, conspiracy, theft, failure to disperse, disorderly conduct, aggravated assault, and riot, among other charges. Jeez. I mean, that's something that is supposed to be, fun. It's supposed to be fun for everybody, not supposed to be charges that you're going to have to worry about. But apparently, that's not the way it turned out. So, yeah, that's sad. 55 kids, wow. Yep, their parents are probably proud of that. Oh, man. All right, next. Oh. All right, now. Okay, reality TV star's son, 4, was airlifted to a hospital after he was catapulted out of a bouncy castle in a freak accident. Jeez. Those bouncy houses. I don't know. That would be the last thing I would expect out of a bouncy house. I would think that those bouncy houses were, pretty safe, but I guess not. So Jess Wright is the mother. Jess Wright's son, Presley, was airlifted to a hospital after a bouncy castle accident at a birthday party. Presley fell about 3 meters on a wooden floor and briefly passed out before receiving medical attention. Wright thanked parents and healthcare workers and shared her gratitude for Presley's recovery with no injuries. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Says that Jess Wright is revealing a very scary accident that occurred with her son over the weekend. The Only Way is Essex. That's the name of the show she's on. Shared a long statement on her Instagram stories on Wednesday, June 10th, explained that her 4-year-old son, Presley, was airlifted to a hospital after he was involved in a freak bouncy house accident. We had a really scary thing happen on a birthday on Saturday. He's been so clingy, even more than usual, ever since. The TV star wrote over a picture of her son sleeping. Presley got catapulted off the top of a bouncy castle high in the air and land it face down. Ooh. That is, I could understand that. When her son was struggling to breathe and passed out in her arms, when he came to, the family airlifted to the trauma unit. Jeez. That's crazy. Well, at least he's good. He's okay now. That's the important thing. But you know they're going to sue. They're going to find some way to sue the company because they weren't doing something right. Oh, here's the other Paramount stuff. It says here by Paramount's thinking, the issue doesn't belong in the realm of antitrust. That issue that they kept referring to. It says THR, which is the Hollywood Reporter, dives into the First Amendment case for why the company thinks it deserves to complete the deal to take over Warner Brothers. The Attorney General aims to challenge the merger. And it says here, Winston writes that the David Ellison team is leaning on a free speech theory to help cross the finish line. That was the before. But since then, we got this article that came out of the States versus Paramount. And it says here, the Justice Department has cleared Paramount's $111 billion mega deal for Warner Brothers, a key approval that removes the major regulatory roadblock to completing the merger. You know, this has been going on for, since last fall. And they screwed Netflix out of the deal. And they used a stock deal, I think, to try to complete this deal. Not Netflix, but David Ellison, because he has Paramount. And it's gone a long, long way before they finally came up with the answer to this. As Winston Cho reports, and Winston Cho is the part of the Hollywood Reporter, there's a movement afoot among at least 10 states to stop Ellison in court. They made the mistake by not letting Netflix do this. They made such a big deal out of that. Netflix pulled out. If they had not done this, Warner probably would have gone belly up, and Paramount probably would have been in serious trouble too because of all the time they spent trying to put this together. But they didn't, and they didn't. They did finally get approval, so more power to them. You know, it kind of sucks that this kind of thing has to happen, but too many people were involved in this thing, and they're lucky that when Netflix moved out that Paramount didn't fold. I was sure that Paramount was not gonna be able to do this, but when Netflix walked away, it gave them, they spent a lot more money than Netflix was going to spend. I mean, a lot more money when you're at 87 million versus 111 million. I mean, it's I'm sorry. What was it? 111 billion dollars. Yeah. And it was 87 million. Is that right? That seems wrong. I don't think that's right. It says it says 111 billion dollars. And the other deal was that 87? Yeah, it was 87 million. Or was it 870 million? I thought it was 87 million. Maybe it was 870 million. I don't know. Now I'm confused because I thought for sure that it was, okay. So anyway, either way, it looks like Paramount has got what they wanted, which is the whole kit and caboodle, and they can now start working on make it all work. I mean, you figure as long as they've been out of at this has been probably, this is a 6 month, probably 8 months now. They were trying to develop this into what it turned into now. So, Yeah, more power to him. All right. Jump Street is in the works for a sequel. And it's not a fake sequel, apparently, because according to Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum,
now,
some
for
kind
your
of
next mission, you two sons of bitches are going to medical school.
So there's the, I guess, is the plot of the thing. So the plot of Jump Street, which I was a big fan of the original Jump Street with Johnny Depp back in probably the 80s. The idea was these kids coming out of high school who looked really young and stuff were now cops and were able to infiltrate the high school time frame back then, and they were trying to infiltrate it so that they could put the bad people away and all that stuff. And it was kind of funny when Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill did it. They looked too old to be students, and that was the joke of the whole thing. And so they did the sequel in 2014. They first off, they did the original movie in 2012. The original series with Johnny Depp was like was around 1980 something. It was early 80s. And so you're talking about probably 30 years later, they come up with this thing to be their first movie on Jump Street in 2012. And I just thought it was funny because the thing looked really ridiculous because they looked too old to be in high school and too old to be in early college. And, they actually pulled it off, and it turned out to be a fun movie. It was a fun movie, but it was a comedy. Now, Jump Street originally was supposed to be not a. Oh, by the way, Oh, yeah, that's right. The original TV series was 21 Jump Street, and the original movie was 24 Jump Street, I think. Unless it was. Oh, okay. Looks like the original sequel was the original movie was 21 Jump Street, and the sequel was 22 Jump Street. And so now the new one is called 24 Jump Street. So I guess that's what it was. So that's what it is. I know there was something like that. But you know what? As stupid as it is, I'm probably going to watch it because I was a big fan of Jump Street, and that's going to make me want to play or not play, but want to watch it. And Ice Cube's in it too. See, there he is. That'd be fun. So we'll see. Chances are it'll be a bad movie, like 22 Jump Street and 24 Jump Street, or 20, whatever I said it was. 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street. They weren't the best movies in the world, but they were just kind of fun. They were fun movies. So it could be cool. All right, Steven Spielberg's Alien Disclosure. That was just out this past weekend, I think it was. The premiere marks Spielberg's return to Alien and sci-fi since War of the Worlds in 2005, as his first major summer release in a decade. Set on a planet teetering on the edge of global conflict, the story follows the leaders, scientists, broadcasters, and religious figures as they wrestle with whether humanity is ready to learn the truth about alien existence. I'll tell you, it's a lot like real life today, because they're little by little they're releasing stuff about the stuff that the government knows that we don't know. So that's pretty interesting to me. But the idea that Spielberg went back to that, I mean, when his first big one was what? It was either his first one was Close Encounters, then he had E.T., and Who knows? I mean, there's probably things that we don't know that we're never going to know, because we'll probably be dead when they release it. Probably 20 years from now, they'll release whether or not stuff that we suspect is real. So, where's that? Let me see if I can find that other thing that should be here somewhere. How did I lose the? I had another article on the next release of. Where did I put it? Okay, well, I'll probably run into it. I have another article on whether or not. Where is it? I thought I had it right here. I'm going to find it eventually, and then I can show you the next release of footage that was of footage of unidentified stuff, where they called UAP now, unidentified aerial phenomenon is what it is now. So as soon as I find it, that'll be the next thing I talk about. I might have put that in another folder. Okay, researchers discover biological driver of cocaine addiction in the liver, suggesting how the body metabolizes cocaine may predict addiction. Most research has focused on the brain. That's I have a lot of friends that did cocaine, and it really marks a disturbing thing that people do. Cocaine use disorder is known to have a strong genetic component, but scientists have struggled to identify the specific genes. And UC San Diego researchers identify key genes such as CES1 that influence how cocaine is metabolized and how addiction develops. Results could help scientists develop a better diagnostic test and more effective treatments for substance use disorders. I don't understand what I've never felt cocaine, so I can't really speak for what it's like, but I can't understand why people who know that it's going to kill them would use that. The same way with alcohol, too. I don't understand alcohol either, because I've never been involved in alcohol. But I would imagine that has the same part of the brain that it attacks. Whatever it is that makes people addicted to stuff. I'm lucky enough that I don't really have that issue because I haven't done anything that's addictive. Let's see here. Researchers at the University of California, San Diego have completed a massive genetics search study that identifies the key biological drivers of cocaine addiction and uncovering a potential new target for treatment that resides in the liver rather than the brain. The study, published in Nature Communications, used a genetically diverse group of people, nearly 900 rats, to map the genetic markers associated with compulsive drug use. So I guess it's not just cocaine, but rather a lot of drugs. Finding liver-based enzyme that shapes cocaine-taking behavior was a real aha moment for us. Sounds like my dogs are going crazy up there. Unless Doug happened to show up, but that would be really late to show up at 8:30. And it says here, whose lab led the addiction behavioral studies that provides the foundation for the research. So it would be interesting to be able to find something like that, to be able to understand what the what leads someone to want to do that. I mean, alcohol is one thing. I mean, I've had a lot of friends that were alcoholic, and fortunately, I've never became an alcoholic either, because I didn't like alcohol, first of all, and I had alcoholic people around me a lot of the time, so I didn't like that behavior around me too much. And it's kind of, it scares me a lot because my grandfather was an alcoholic. My dad drank a lot when I was younger. He gave up alcohol when I was about 13, 12, something like that. And, you know, I just think that I probably will never understand the alcohol thing because of that. So that could be the one thing that will make me never really truly understand that, is that I was exposed to it, but I never really did it, never really felt it. So I don't really understand the addiction part of it. It says finding a liver-based enzyme that shapes cocaine-taking behavior was a real aha moment for us. It says here, it reminds us that addiction isn't only in the brain. It's a complex puzzle involving how the entire body processes the drug. While it's known that cocaine use disorder has a strong genetic component, scientists have struggled to pinpoint the specific genes that make certain individuals more vulnerable to addiction. Identifying those genes is an important goal because drugs could then be developed to target those genes, shifting genetically susceptible people to becoming more like genetically resistant people. I mean, it'd be cool if they could figure that stuff out. It'd be nice to be able to target that kind of addiction, or any kind of addiction, because maybe it's a start of understanding addiction better than we do now. We seem to have at least an idea about addiction, but if we could find that thing that correlates addiction with an actual product, or something that it has in common with many products, we can fix that problem. I don't know. I've always wondered about addiction. I've always wondered why people got addicted to things like that. So we may find that. You know, especially with something like cocaine, it's an expensive drug in many ways, not just financially. It makes you lose a lot. How about this one? Do you have a running narrative in your head about when you're alone, or do you see a silent stream of images? Not everyone thinks the same way, and scientists are exploring why. I don't know what this is. This may be a sound thing. Oh, here it is. Inner monologues are still a mystery. You know, I run into inner monologues. I'm not going to listen to this, so hopefully there's a speaking thing. Emily Kwong is pretty sure she lacks an inner monologue, while the inner monologue of producer Rachel Carlson won't stop chatting. But how well can a person know their inner self? And does science have to say about it? We dig into the encore episode, A Short Wave. You know, I wonder myself, because everyone has their own inner monologue playing. And there's things that we may be passionate about that we have inner monologues. I have inner monologues running in my head all the time. And there's things that I just wish sometimes that I wouldn't have that inner monologue. But mine aren't as well, I wouldn't say aren't as dangerous as some people's, but I'm sure they aren't. But what's your inner monologue? That's the question. If you put that in the comments, I will respond. But I'm curious as to what other people's inner monologues. I think my inner monologue is a lot of things that that I've been through that I just I may not have resolved. A lot of things with my past relationships I have not resolved. Things that I thought were resolved that come up from time to time that I find out that I didn't really resolve. So, and then some things that I have resolved, and I guess it's confirmation that they're still resolved. I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's talk about $1 trillion. We have our first trillionaire. Wow. I never thought I'd say that, but $1 trillion. Okay, so back when I was a kid, $1 million was a lot of money. In fact, $500,000 was a lot of money. $100,000 was a lot of money. But now that's nothing. I mean, really, to retire, you should have $500,000 saved. How many of us have that? There's very few of us that actually have that. And if you don't have it by now, you're probably, I mean, depending how many years you have till you retire, you're probably not going to have that. And to live off Social Security, that's scary. Because even if you have a good Social Security going, is it going to be enough to cover your bills? I can tell you that my Social Security isn't great, but it's better than a lot of people get. But if I had to live off of that, I don't think I could. You know, a lot of us think about that. Think that, you know, it, like originally when Pam died, I was entitled to her Social Security when I reached 59 and a half, and I did the math because I knew that I wasn't going to be working where I was working much longer, and I knew that I was going to have to make some decisions on how I was going to survive the rest of my life. And the amount of money that she accumulated on her Social Security was only like $1,500 a month. And I knew I knew that wasn't going to be enough to live on. So fortunately I had stocks that I had accumulated along the way, because I lived fairly frugal. I really never spent a lot of money on junk stuff, and I spent a lot of money on things that people thought I was crazy for buying, investments and stuff. And some of those investments came out well, but then I also had an ESOP plan where I worked, and I got in early on the ESOP plan, and that money accumulated, and sure enough, it did okay. It you know, I'm not a billionaire or anything, but I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to be able to, you know, live okay. And I paid off my house a long time ago because that was one of the first goals I had, because I didn't want any debts, because I knew someday I wanted to retire, and I didn't want to have those debts. And that was a smart thing to do, because when I retired, I was able to retire with a minimal amount of debt. Actually, I retired with no debt. So my house was paid off, so all I had to worry about was my car, my insurance, you know, the basics, food, you know, all that, taxes, same thing that most of us have to worry about. I don't know where I'm going with this. Oh, $1 trillion. Okay. So I don't have anywhere near $1 trillion. I don't even have 1 million. Oh, I have okay. I'm okay. I'm going to live comfortably for the rest of my life. But, you know, there are many of us that aren't going to be able to do that. And then there's Elon Musk, who, because of the SpaceX and this new IPO, has $1 trillion. That to me is just mind-boggling. I can't even fathom, you know. But to me, it's like even the money that I have, if you adjust it for deflation, in other words, if I took this money that I have today, and let's say we went back 30 years, what it was worth then, I would be okay, but I wouldn't be doing great. I wouldn't be like spending money on a mansion or anything. I still have to manage my money because I still have to make sure that I'm in the right place at the right time. So picture a line with $1 million on the left and $1 trillion on the right. Where would you place 1 billion? So $1 billion is all the way on the left, crunched up against 1 million, which is nowhere close to $1 trillion. But research says that many people follow their intuition and treat numbers as evenly spaced, placing $1 billion roughly halfway between 1 million and $1 trillion. As it turns out, 1 trillion is such a large number and so far beyond human imagination that we can't wrap our heads around it. That's true. I truly think that people don't realize how much or how many. If you put $1 bill, or you know, even put say there was $1 million bill, okay, you would have a lot of $1 million bills to hit $1 trillion. Let's see if I can figure out the best way to say. Okay, so as it turns out, $1 trillion is such a large number and so far beyond the human imagination that we can't wrap our minds around it. $1 trillion is 1,000 times more than $1 billion. Let's be honest. If I could have told you 1 million times more, and you probably would have believed me. Not long ago, the word trillionaire only appeared in Wall Street Journal as hyperbole. It was an obviously exaggerated way of describing an inconceivable fortune, like calling someone a bazillionaire. But now that SpaceX is going public, it might be something we call Elon Musk. It is something we call Elon Musk because it turned out that way. In a way, it's fitting that the world's first trillionaire could be minted by a company with hopes of sending people to destinations unfathomably far away, since the sheer magnitude of $1 trillion is almost impossible for us to fathom. So let's make it possible. 1 million seconds ago was about 2 weeks ago. 1 billion seconds ago was 1994. Now think about that. 1 million seconds ago was 2 weeks ago. 1 billion seconds ago was in 1994, when Pulp Fiction was about to open in theaters. What about 1 trillion seconds? Whatever number is in your head, you might want to add some millennia, because 1 trillion seconds ago was the Ice Age. So that really, that's a lot of time. So if we could put that as money, I mean, you can buy, if you're a trillionaire, you can really buy anything at any time. A trillionaire, I that still blows me away, because even a millionaire would be 2 weeks ago. 1 million seconds ago would be 2 weeks ago. I'm just recapping again here. 1 billion seconds would be 1994. Where were you in 1994? Where were you 2 weeks ago? Where were you in 1994? Were you even born before that? But a trillion seconds, you'd be walking around with dinosaurs. That's the honest truth of things. If you were trying to piece together what it's all like and what the world is really all about, that is so high. It's crazy. Back on this planet, where the mere thought of trillions can break our brains, I called David Landy, a Netflix data scientist, an Indiana University adjunct professor of psychological and brain services. We're living in a world where we are not built to understand, he told me. To survive in that world, he explained, we have developed systems that are remarkably successful, except when they're not. In this case, that means shrinking gigantic numbers down to basic words that anyone can understand. A million, a billion, a trillion. A million would be like, a million seconds would be like 2 weeks. That's crazy. A trillion or a billion would be like 1994. That's just unbelievable to me. But then a trillion, you're thinking Ice Age. That's a difference. I don't know. That's just crazy. Think about it, though. That's how the world is. So, all right, next. All right. What time is it? I should probably do some of Doug's stuff. Or stuff I had saved for Doug. All right. All right, that's no longer good, so I'll delete that. All right, so this is good thing. This is the best thing I've seen in a while. The U.S. and Iran have agreed to extend the ceasefire for 60 days. Well, we don't have to, I guess, because we've reached an agreement. Donald Trump and mediators revealed the countries are scheduled to sign a deal Friday in Switzerland. Because of that, oil prices have fell on the news. Iran has agreed to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to all commercial vessels, toll-free, and the U.S. will end its naval blockade on Iranian ports. The ceasefire is also predicted on an end to the conflict in Lebanon, where Israel has been fighting the Iranian-backed Hezbollah, and details surrounding Iran's nuclear program, including the fate of its stockpile of enriched uranium, are slated to be discussed after the deal is signed. The full text was not publicly available as of this writing. The agreement was announced hours before Trump traveled to France for this year's G7 summit. In addition to the U.S. war with Iran, the countries will discuss multilateral trade, among other issues. So that is some good news, hopefully, and hopefully it will go through like what we're expecting it to do. So I guess that's the next big thing, is let's see if it happens. But it's exciting because I'd like to see this world not be fighting all the time. It's just a scary world that we're in, and I don't know. I just think that we need peace, and that was his platform. Was he wanted no more wars, and of course the big thing that happened was, that we had a lot of wars. So we'll see if it makes a difference, but I think he had to do this. I think he had to actually make a deal of some sort, because I don't think anybody, his approval rating is so bad right now. So that was awesome to see that was one of the biggest news things that happened in quite a while. Judge weighs in, weighs the alleged gag order violation in Charlie Kirk murder case. Lawyers for Tyler Robinson. That is him, I believe. Yep, it is. The Utah man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Yesterday, he asked a judge to hold the prosecutors in contempt for publicly commenting on recovered bullet fragments. The judge said he would issue a ruling at a later date, and any potential penalty remains unclear. After hearing is set, another hearing is set July 6th, when the prosecutors must show they have enough evidence to proceed to the trial. It's kind of weird to think that that we wouldn't have enough information to do that. Attorneys for the accused man killing Charlie Kirk asked the judge to block prosecutors from seeking the death penalty as punishment for comments they made in the media about a bullet fragment. The comments were in response to speculation that the bullet fragment could exonerate defendant Tyler Robinson. Conjecture over evidence in Kirk's killing has fueled unsubstantiated conspiracy theories that there might have been a second shooter or that his death was staged. Prosecutors have said that they intend to seek the death penalty if Robinson's convicted. I don't care if he's getting the death penalty or not, because the fact is that if he did do it, he's stuck for being in jail for a long time. The prosecutors said they intend to seek the death penalty if Robinson's convicted. The 23-year-old from southwestern Utah is charged with the aggravated murder in the September 10th killing of Kirk, who was shot in the neck while addressing the crowd of thousands at Utah Valley University. Robinson's yet to enter a plea. Robinson's attorneys accused prosecutors of going on a media tour to discuss expert reports from the bullet fragment, violating the judge's restriction against speaking about the case outside court. Prosecutors countered that they have the right to speak to the press to correct misinformation about preliminary finding by ballistic experts. The experts' initial test did not match the bullet fragment from a gun that investigators believe was used to kill Kirk. That's interesting. I didn't know that. In court filings, defense attorneys made public a federal agency's failure to conclusively link the bullet fragments to the rifle. They said it appeared to be, I don't even know how to pronounce that, exculpatory evidence, information that leads to absolve the defendant of guilt, without noting the finding was preliminary and the evidence testing was planned. Well, that'll be interesting to see whether or not that does really make a difference. If the kid is not guilty, then he shouldn't go to jail. But they better find somebody that is guilty if he's not, because the world wants to know. So, all right, let's see here. Okay, so that one's that. Pentagon resumes operation after a hazardous material sensor let off a false alarm, triggering a lockdown and partial evacuation, per a spokesperson. that was a pretty big deal. They locked down a big part of, I guess, all of the Pentagon, but they were not really able to find anything that was in those hazardous materials. They didn't find anything to be hazardous materials, so it set off a false alarm. President Trump signs a bill allocating $70 billion towards immigration enforcement through the end of his term, capping partisan fight over the future of the Department of Homeland Security funding. That could be pretty big, too. Well, not could be pretty big. That is pretty big. Oh, what happened? Huh. Well, I didn't touch that. I don't know what happened there. All right. Oversight Committee. Questions about Bill Gates and his interactions with Jeffrey Epstein from 2011 to 2014 in closed hearing. Gates says Epstein sought to blackmail him over his affairs with Russian women, but denies illicit conduct. Who cares? I mean, as far as illicit conduct, I mean, isn't he divorced, or didn't he split up with his wife? I don't know. It seems to me I remember something like that going on, but I might be wrong about that. All right, what else do I got here that would be Doug-oriented? This is the political crap. Well, I shouldn't say crap, I mean, but the political stuff. Oh, yeah, here's a good one. Oil prices sink on announcement of Iran deal. We'll see how well that continues. I'll tell you. Oh, okay. Here's a story that's interesting. So on my way back from New Jersey on Friday night, I stopped at a Wawa, which is, if you don't know what a Wawa is, it's a convenience store that has gas. I didn't need gas. When I was driving down the turnpike, something flew out in front of me and hit a car. Well, it flew out in front of this other car and hit his car. Then it hit my car, and I didn't know if there was any damage to my car, so I pulled over and got and checked. And so, fortunately, I didn't see any major damage to my car, but that's not the first time that's happened, and I got hit by fodder from somebody else's vehicle. But anyway, so the one thing that I saw, which was really strange, I was walking into the store. It's a convenience store, so there's like you can order food, or you can just get chips, or you can just use their bathroom, or get something to drink, or whatever it is. I went in there, and as I was going in the building, or before the building, I had to walk by the gas pumps. Man, I'm glad I don't have a gas car anymore. There were amounts on the gas pump, and there was nothing smaller than $40. That was the smallest I saw on the gas pumps. But that's where they went up from there. There was only one that was 40. Then there was a bunch that were 60. There was $140. I'm like, what in the world is going on? How big is your tank if you're paying $140? But then again, at gas prices $5 a gallon or whatever it was, I could see that. So I am so glad that I don't pay for gas anymore, because my energy for my vehicle, for my Tesla, is free. When I bought my car, it had unlimited charging for free. So that really was crazy. I mean, if you're paying $140 for the month, that would be a lot of money. to me. I mean, last car I had, the last gas car I had was a Prius. So I rarely, I bought my first Prius in 2006. And the reason I got it was because I was doing wrestling and I was driving all over the place. And I was going up to Long Island, and that was like 6 hours. I was going to, Atlanta, which was 16 hours, or I was going to, we went to Indiana, that was like 8 or 9 hours. Then Jersey on a regular basis was 2 to 4 hours, depending where it was. And that's the reason that I did it, was because, that was a lot of money to go for wrestling events. And actually, we played our band in New York City, and we also played our band in New Jersey. We also played our band in Pennsylvania. So we were traveling with that too. So like when I did that, we were paying, I want to say $3 a gallon. The most we paid was, I think, $3 a gallon. That was in 2006, I would guess. And at that point, I was driving a Jeep, so I was paying a lot of money back then. So then I started driving a Prius. That was the first Prius I had in 2006. Then I bought a Prius in 2010. And that one I drove like crazy. I mean, the first Prius I drove, it was like 120,000 miles. Then I bought the second Prius. I drove that like 120,000 miles. Then from there I bought my first Tesla in 2018. Then I sold my Tesla, or I sold my my Prius, and then I got a girlfriend who needed a car, so I bought her a Prius, a 2008, and that was a good car. But then I bought a Tesla last year. While I was between Tesla, I bought my second Tesla was a 2023, and I loved that car, but I had it leased, and that first one was leased too. So then I said, I'm never going to lease again, because that was ridiculous. It was crazy. I'd spent a lot of money on the leases, and I ended up, I wanted to buy something, but I didn't want to buy something till I found the right car. So I bought a 2020 in June, I think, of last year. And then I bought my the deal was I told my girlfriend she could drive that, and she once I got my new Tesla, that would be her car. So when I got the new one, December 31st, then that became her car, and we sold the other Prius after that. So yeah, I have no idea what gas prices were until I saw those at the gas pump on Friday. So man, I feel for you people. I really do feel for you people. That's just crazy. So, all right. Something that happened yesterday was the UFC ends. So apparently this the White House had a UFC event, and they built this stadium on the lawn. It held like 4,000 people. There was a lot of delays, and there was an upset win, and there was controversial moments. Says here that Donald Trump's UFC event on the White House grounds finally came to an end after a delayed start and a series of embarrassing moments. The final bout ended at 1 a.m. Monday morning with Justin Gaethje, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, pulling off a major upset with Ilia Topuria to become UFC's undisputed lightweight champion. Gaethje shook Trump's bruised and makeup-covered hand moments after the winning fight. Away from the fighting, the UFC event staged as part of the America 250 celebrations, which just so happened to coincide with Trump's 80th birthday, also featured a number of shocks and controversies. So let's see what they are. Most notably, heavyweight fighter Josh Hokett launched a vile insult at the former First Lady Michelle Obama after defeating Derek Lewis in the second round of their fight. Michelle Obama is a man, am I right, America? Hokett said, prompting a mixture of laughter and boos from the crowd. Yeah, there's really no reason for that. That's just poor taste. Podcaster and UFC commentator Joe Rogan made no mention of the remark during the post-fight interview in the octagon. Trump appeared to show a half smile after Hokett attacked Obama during the event on the White House grounds. First off, there's no reason to attack her. She's not even a political person. So there's just no need for that. Even before the fight took place, the tacky UFC event was an embarrassment suitable for marking Trump's 80th birthday. The event was at risk of completely disrupted by heavy rain, strong winds, and even lighting. The Weather Channel posted that on X that UFC Freedom 250 was facing chaotic weather conditions, including a 60% chance of thunderstorms. In response, the Trump White House Rapid Response 47X account lashed out at Weather Channel, posting, "This event is about celebrating America's unmatched greatness after 250 years, which apparently doesn't sit well with a friendless loser who wrote this BS clickbait headline." Just crazy. The Weather Channel is... Oh, jeez. So he's a friendless loser. The Weather Channel's a friendless loser. I don't know. It just, I just really hate people that just looking for a fight. I mean, the guy wasn't, the forecast was the forecast. You can't really, it says here, rain, 30 miles per hour winds, and mosquitoes on the White House lawn. I don't know. I think it's funny. Despite the angry outburst, the first fight was delayed by an hour as the precaution because of the unsettled weather sweeping across Washington, D.C. Now, I got to tell you, that weather was really, really nasty. It took out, I'm in Pennsylvania, so that was in D.C. It came right up along the line, and when it hit, I was on a Zoom call at 7:30 or so, somewhere around that time, when the weather hit here. And not only did the weather was pretty bad. I mean, the rain was bad enough, but the winds and the, I don't know what else. I mean, I don't know if it was what was going on with it, but the rain hit really bad. It knocked out the power lines. It knocked out my cable. It knocked out my electric. Now, I have solar panels and I have battery backup, and my house went black. I mean, it didn't go black because the area here went black, I should say. My electric stayed up, but my cable was down, and I had no internet for 2 days. I got my internet back this morning. So not only did I lose internet, I was on a Zoom call with my mentor, and that ended badly because like in the half hour that I was on the thing, I missed whatever went on the rest of the day. So it was horrible. It was really, really bad. It knocked my cable down, and you don't know how much you miss your cable till it's gone. And not only did I lose my cable, but my network was down. The network was kind of up, but it can't really do anything if there's no internet. I can communicate from one computer to the other, but I can't communicate outside here. So not only did I have, and because of my, the funny thing is that when I lose power, I don't even know that I lose power because you hear a click. That's when the batteries are kicking on, but the lights stayed on. And so I looked outside and no lights were, I live back in a dark area. So when the lights, when everybody's out of electricity, it's dark. You can't see anything. And I couldn't see anything. It was really bad. Oh, Kelly. Trump and his followers are total a-holes. Sorry, Mike, I don't see it any other. Hey, I'm not disagreeing with you, Kelly. I don't disagree with you on that. That's something that Doug and I do not agree on. I want to agree on that, but I can't. I didn't even vote this time because I didn't see a winner at all. I couldn't see Trump. I knew Trump was going to be like he is, and I wasn't going to vote for him. And I couldn't vote for her either because she just doesn't seem qualified to run the country. And so I don't disagree with you on him being an a-hole. So anyway, as far as the power goes and everything, I didn't have anything that I could watch on TV. I couldn't listen to anything on the radio. Everybody was down. And it turned out that I don't know if you were down or not, but it turned out that Dolphin was down and was down really bad because it wiped us out. And so not only didn't I have power, I didn't have internet, I should say, but I only had power because I had battery backup, and my power died at about 12:30 at night because I was running air conditioning, and I shouldn't have run the air conditioning. But I didn't realize the power was out either. I realized that because I don't know if the power goes out or not because all I hear is a click. And like I said, I looked outside and it was as dark as it could be. So yeah, so yesterday was a really weird day because there wasn't anything I could do yesterday either. I couldn't write the show, couldn't do any of that. So I went out and cut the grass, and then I came back in hoping it would come back on. Did not come on. I had to go, like yesterday, I could watch TV on my phone, but I couldn't watch TV on my TV and stuff. So I watched a little Netflix, and that was about it. I couldn't watch anything on TV. But it came back this morning, and I was thankful. I couldn't stand watching stuff on TV when I couldn't watch my TV. So anyway, so yeah, so that fiasco at the White House was what I kind of would have expected it to be. It was a nightmare. The event started at 9 and was watched by 4,000 attendees, including Trump, Melania, J.D. Vance, the South Lawn. It was desecrated to accommodate for the enormous structure called the Claw, as well as the Octagon fighting area. So they destroyed the front lawn. So it says not even inside the warehouse. Inside the historic complex was safe. On Sunday, the White House's official X account shared photos showing how the Eisenhower Executive Office building had been transformed into a makeshift locker room for the event. The event also continued. The thing is, there's a guy there that has an ego problem. The guy has to have everything named after him. Has got to have everything his way or no way at all. And I really, I've never seen such an egotist as with him. And I just am so over it all. I would love to see, I'll be glad when he's out of office. Because I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm right in the middle. But there's nothing that I can think of that has been worse than this whole mess with him in office. Now, I guess I'll leave it at that as far as that goes. But I'll be glad when he's out, because I mean he eliminated the tax benefits of owning a EV, but he did do us a favor, because us EV people, the gas prices were so high. It really helped the EV community, because we got electric, and electric is a lot cheaper than gas is now. So that's the one thing that I will tell you is the only thing he would have done right. Anyway, so I guess Sean Strickland was at the event. A vocal, it says UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland, a vocal critic of the president, claimed he had been banned from the White House event, but still appeared at the fight. While thousands of people watched the fights on the giant screens near the White House, Strickland was removed shortly after being mobbed by fans, saying that his unplanned presence resulted in disorder. To the fan that snuck me in, you're an effing legend and a true America. Strickland posted on his UFC. So, like I said, I think this event is kind of what his run at the White House this time has become. He's shown his true colors in all ways, and he's backed by some people that are just blind to what he's doing. That's about the best way I can say it. I just think that it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be a United States citizen in a lot of ways. So, yeah, that's the stuff I've got that I would have had for Doug if he was here. But here's some of the other stuff that I have that I think is cool. SpaceX began publicly trading with its price at $135 a share, valuing the company at $1.8 trillion. I don't know. That's a lot. But if you were here earlier, I explained that the difference between a million, a billion, and a trillion. And if you weren't there for that, it's really interesting. I am a big Elon Musk fan. I am not a big Trump fan. Elon Musk worked for his money, and whether you like him or don't like him, he's changing the world in a lot of positive ways. A lot of his neuro things that he's working on, a lot of his EV stuff, a lot of his space stuff. I think Elon is a brilliant man, and I do support Elon Musk. So to me, he is probably the most important person on this planet right now for what he's done. So I'm a fanboy of him, not of Trump. All right. Amazon is to expand its trucking and freight services to third-party shipping, triggering a sell-off in major trucking and freight stocks. That's kind of interesting to me. It shows that that Amazon has really, another company that has really changed the way that we do business, the way that we actually try to make things better. I like the idea of not having to leave the house to buy something. So, and I like the idea of having it come to my front door instead of me having to go to its front door. Something else that looks really interesting to me, now I'm all about electric cars, so I'm sorry that if this is not something other people are interested in, but this is something about Waymo. Waymo launches its premier subscription tier to $30 a month, starting in select cities. So Waymo, even though it's not Tesla, Waymo is the first to really do what they're doing, and that is give people a reasonable pricing structure and a full self-driving experience for, it says its subscription tier for power users is $30 a month. That sounds pretty good. Sounds reasonable, because I would imagine that reasonable prices on now I don't do much with taxis, so I think I've only ridden a taxi maybe twice in my life, whereas if we were in a big city I might probably do it more often. But even when I went to New York and stuff to do auditions and stuff like that, I drove, and that usually cost me a lot of money because I get tickets for parking illegally, even when I didn't know I was parking illegally. So yeah, that's not necessarily one of my smarter moves. But anyway, $30 a month is pretty good, I think, if you use it regularly. So Waymo's launching a new subscription tier called Waymo Premier, targeting avid users in some of the most popular markets for the robotaxi service. The Alphabet-owned company said that the plan will cost $29.99 and is invite only to select riders in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Phoenix. Subscribers will get prioritized matching with up to 5 free cancellations per month and earn 10% in loyalty credits or Waymo cash for each trip. 10%, I guess that's pretty good. I don't know how much how much you save by using a Waymo, but I think it's really cool, and I believe in the Waymo and the Tesla full self-driving. They both have their powers and they both have their negatives, so they're actually pretty aggressive. You spoke and we listened to how we can offer an even more elevated experience for you, the top writers. For a monthly fee, members gain access to a suite of exclusive benefits designed to make their journey more seamless and rewarding. As Waymo plots an aggressive expansion plan, including London later this year, the company is aiming to capitalize on its power users, especially in markets where demand is highest. Subscriptions provide an added source of revenue, a key aspect to the business as it reels in outside capital and stays way ahead of rivals Amazon, Zoox, and Tesla. They can't really say that they're going to stay too far ahead, because Tesla's being really close to where they're trying to be. So I think Tesla's going to be a number 2 right now, but they're going to go ahead, I think. In first quarter, Alphabet's Other Bets segment, which includes Waymo, saw its loss widen from $2.1 billion to $1. So its loss widened to $2.1 billion from $1.22 billion a year earlier. Revenue in the segment dropped to $411 million from $450 million. Waymo says that in February it raised a $16 billion funding round that values the company at $126 billion, more than double the evaluation in October 2024. Alphabet contributed to financing, as did outside investors. We'll see. I mean, I think it's a an interesting thing. And so far, I don't hear anything bad about the worst thing I hear about Waymo is that if Waymo's computers, their central computers, go down, so do the cars. In Tesla's situation, if Tesla's computers go down, the cars can still drive and do what they're supposed to do. That's one thing that I find interesting, that Waymo has to find a way to combat and become able to go, even if their computers in their mainframes at their corporate go down. So that's one thing that that if you have a problem at corporate, the cars aren't going to run. Whereas with Tesla, the Tesla runs off the computer in the car rather than needing the computer at the main location. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see how that battle comes out. So actually it says here that Jeff Bezos, physical AI startup, oh, that's a different one. So that's something else that Jeff Bezos is starting up raises $12 million to build. Oh, don't do that again. Darn it. I hate you. You darn ad things. Let's see if we can turn that off. Okay. I thought I had it turned off. Okay, it's turned off now. So Jeff Bezos has his own AI he's building. It'll be $12 billion. I can't even fathom that. That just blows me away. $12 billion to create artificial intelligence. So, yeah, we'll see if he does that. But boy, that's scary to think how much money it is. All right, here we go. Elon Musk, I talked about, is the first trillionaire, and I can't even fathom that. Oh, that's a lot of money. I don't know. I think at some point you got to quit. At some point you got to just not try to make any more money. But I guess the goal is to just keep making money. I don't know. But okay, let's go back to the real news now. The stuff that people care about. Now that I hit all the bullet points that I wanted to talk about that stuff. All right. Back to entertainment. All right. Here we go. Let's talk about the important stuff. Here's the important stuff. 6 of the most valuable vintage cereal boxes. See, that's more important than the other stuff that we talk about. That's the most important stuff we can talk about. So how many of these boxes do you think you've ever seen? The most important. Okay, so here's a 1935 Lou Gehrig Wheaties box. Hopefully it'll come up. Oh, there it is. Okay. That one is worth. Wait a minute. What did I say it was worth? Hold on. Let's see where we at. Here we go. Baseball legend Lou Gehrig was the first ever athlete to appear on the back of a Wheaties box in 1935, a tradition that has been time-honored. And these precious boxes, they have replicas on sale at eBay for $7, but one of the original boxes sold at a 2019 auction estimated at $1,000 to $2,000. It's sold for $7,680. Unbelievable. In 2025, an unopened box, unopened 10-pack of Post cereals sold for a whopping $21,600 at auction. This was the first example we have ever offered. That's just crazy. The cereals was certainly bolstered by the fact that they came with 3 Post cereal baseball cards at the bottom of the package. A number 4 Mickey Mantle, a number 47 Pete Runnels, and a number 157 Charlie Neal. These minute cereals hit stores in the 1950s and remained popular into the 60s, but were eventually discontinued. Today, though, they fetch quite a pretty penny, particularly when the valuable baseball cards are part of the deal. Other Post cereal packages with baseball cards attached have sold for $15,375 and $11,400. That's crazy. How about some Quaker Quisp cereal? In 2016, a box of Quaker Quisp sold for $2,100 on eBay. These cereals hit stores in 1965 and continued to sell until the mid-70s, where they were slowly phased out. However, they have occasionally reemerged on shelves over the years. Still, vintage boxes are especially beloved among cereal box collectors. I never thought that there was such a thing as a cereal box collector, but I guess they were. I guess there is. 1969, Beatles Nabisco Rice Honeys Nabisco Rice Honeys box. A 69. The Beatles' influence knows no bounds, and even though extended to the realm of vintage cereal box auctioneering, in 2014, a Beatles-themed Nabisco Rice Honeys box sold for $1,438 at auction. It also became a 6 yellow submarine rub-ons, came with 6 yellow submarine rub-ons, which are similar to temporary tattoos. These rub-ons were released in 1969 as a tie-in with the band's movie Yellow Submarine and were only sold for a short time. They certainly helped make this vintage package deal into a collector's item. Jeez. $1,400 for a box of cornflakes. That's kind of crazy. Let's see here. Mr. T cereal. 1984 Mr. T cereal. See if we can see what it looks like. All right, here's what we got. I pity the fool. I pity the fool. I pity the fool that don't eat this cereal. Oh man. Okay, I pity the fool who don't eat. Oh, that's what it. That is what it says. Pee Wee Herman's and Mr. Breakfast's favorite. I pity the fool who don't eat my cereal, featuring the animated Mr. T and his NBC Saturday morning series, because Mr. T and crime-solving team gymnasts are such a natural fit. Jeez. Let's see here. So this one, you might remember seeing Mr. T as an antagonist in the movie Rocky III. In the 1980s, he starred in the action series The A-Team and played himself in a self-titled cartoon series as well. The Mr. T brand was thriving at that point, which might be why a cereal box bearing the actor's cartoon visage hit the shelves in 1984. One box sold for $550 at a 2024 auction, even though it sold for signs of it sold some signs of wear and tear and had creases and stains on it. What kind of stains are on this box? Still, it came from Mr. T's personal collection and was accompanied by a certificate of authenticity, and unfortunately, or perhaps quite fortunately, none of the cereal it had once held was still there. So it came with no cereal. You just got the box. So don't be starving when you try to buy that one. Tony Hawk Frosted Flakes, also known as Birdman. Tony Hawk is definitely skateboarding's biggest star. He also was the founder of Skateboard Project, which has donated over $3 million to skate parks over America over the years. In the 2025 box of Hawk-themed Kellogg Frosted Flakes, which stores in 1991 and continue to be released in limited edition, sold for $512 at the auction, with all proceeds going to Hawks Foundation. Adding appeal to this particular box have been the fact that it came directly from Hawks' personal collection. I think that's cool. Oh, that was the last one. Oh, wait a minute. That was the last one. Ah, okay. Well, the big one was, I guess, the first one. That was, where's that? Oh, Lou Gehrig one. Because that was the one that went for $7,600. Jeez. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. All right, let's see here. That's the next one. Students discover ancient Rome beneath their high school. That's neat. Less than 1,000 feet from the Colosseum. That's really cool. How do you find that, though? I mean, geez, you got to be willing to get your hands dirty. Like all high schools, Cavour Scientific School has its fair share of rumors. For years, students swore that their classrooms were built atop an ancient, unexplored Roman ruins. Their theories were understandable, given that the school's an impressive view. From its steps on the Via di Garibaldi, Cavour Scientific High School is less than 5-minute stroll to the Colosseum. Yes, that Colosseum. The monumental symbol of ancient Rome is not only one example of the surrounding neighborhood's historical significance. Famous figures including Pompey, Cicero, and Emperor Augustus all lived there. But much of the vital archaeological, I can't even pronounce that word, record remains buried underneath centuries of municipal development. The school, originally built during the late 19th century as a missionary complex, is its own testament of the constant change. Although construction work is at the time revealed portions of a large Roman villa home known as a domus, no one conducted extensive surveys of the remnants. Instead, the domus' true size condition was a matter of speculation or generations. That's just craziness. Knowing this, the students recently undertook multiple clandestine explorations through passageways underneath the gymnasium and finally confirmed longtime suspicions. An ancient, luxurious Roman abode resides beneath the hallways. So, wow, that's just really, look at this. This is great. That's just really, really cool. Who would have thought? That's really cool. if you want to buy a town, I mean, you know, Elon could buy one. He's got a lot of money. But this one's not too badly priced for what it is. Australia, has their tiniest town is on sale, and it's only $281K. You know, you pay more for a house than that, and we could buy a town for that price. Fancy owning your own town? Australia's smallest settlement is on the market for $243,000, whatever that is. I don't know if that's pounds or what that is, but that sounds like a good deal. With only 2 residents, the 4-bed roadhouse and unofficial mayor's job description that includes running the post office and pouring pints. The outback town of Quality is searching for new owners willing to embrace an unconventional way of life. Fancy becoming the mayor, postmaster, publishing, motel manager all at once, an entire Australian town, complete with pub, restaurant, motel, and general store, and it's just hit the market less than the price of many of the homes in Europe. Jeez. With only 2 residents left, the tiny outback settlement of Quality is looking for a new owner, willing to swap city life for the mulga trees, wide open skies, and the chance to run a town almost entirely single-handedly. Known as Australia's tiniest town, it could be yours for a spare 400,000, whatever that rate is, or 243. I don't know if that's Lear or whatever. Some 800 kilometers from the city of Brisbane. Its existing 2 residents, Carol Yarrow, and Joe is that a Cornell or Comel? Are planning respectively to retire and relocate. They bought the Foxtrap Roadhouse in 2023. Population of the town is calculated based on how many people own the business venture. The new owners will have a chance to change the face of the entire town, which was once a busy railway hub. In 1967, trains there stopped while the sheep industry shrank and residents slowly moved out. Wonder if they were like moving out because they were tyrants or something. I don't know. They'll have a new chance to change the face of the entire town, which was once a busy hub. In 1967, trains stopped while the sheep industry shrank and the residents moved out. Becky Jesman, wait a minute, there it is, Jesman recommends the purchase for individuals ranging from empty nesters to families hunting for unusual lifestyle. But the ownership of the town does come with some caveats. The owner or owners will be required to act as an unofficial mayor and serve as the postal worker, shopkeeper, cook, motel receptionist, and publican. Speaking to The Guardian, outgoing owner Carol Yarrow explained the food and the pub are probably one of the main jobs. We also do the mail. We also do the mail runs as part of the post office. Today's amenities include the Roadhouse, and even our 4-star restaurant are surprisingly popular. Larger towns near the Charleville, and people from Yarrow says 70 kilometers keep the town afloat. Since the residents left, many are moving out, and surrounding areas will come to visit who grew up here and check out the old haunts. We get a lot of passing traffic through here, and that'd be funny to own your own little town. I don't like the idea that someone tells me how I can run my town, though. That's funny. Oh, man. Where can you get that kind of... I'm wondering, like, how big this town is, because it doesn't really tell you a lot about it. A 4-bedroom roadhouse. And who are you the postmaster for? Since you and your assistant or whatever are the only ones there. Huh. Looks funny. Anyway. All right, then we got... that's $281,000 in American, I guess, from what I'm seeing. Okay. Netflix unveils its first trailer for Little House on the Prairie revival. Now, I never watched the original, but I can't imagine... I guess it would work. I mean, geez, they've revived just about everything, so I guess it would work. Netflix is ready to embark on the Ingalls journey. The streamer released the first official trailer for their Little House on the Prairie series. Part hopeful family drama, part epic survival tale, part origin story of the... Oh, geez, another... Gotta free that up, too, so I can see it. Okay. Now close this. I turned it off already. Come on. There we go. Okay. Oh, wait. It says disable on this website. All right. All right. The show stars Alice Housley as Laura, Skywalker Hughes as Laura's older sister. Skywalker. That's a name? That's interesting. And Mary and Luke Bracely and Crosby Fitzgerald as Pa and Ma Ingalls. In the trailer, the traveling Ingalls family is shown attempting to settle on American frontier. However, they learn the challenges and tensions that exist. Is this where we finally become who we're meant to? How will we ever know if we try? I don't know. I guess it could have legs because it's a whole different generation that's going to watch it, as long as they're interested in that thing. So it could be interesting. I don't know. But original either, so that would probably be something. Let's see here. Next. Let me get rid of this. Trying to get rid of you. Why won't you delete? Alright, well, you're not going to work with me here. Okay. Do you believe in aliens? Well, 1 in 5 Americans believe that aliens have already made contact. You know, this is a big thing for me because I never believed in them till last couple of years. And then all of a sudden, I'm thinking, maybe there is such a thing. Maybe they are out there. And like, maybe I'm wrong. Could be. But anyway, 1 in 5. That's a lot of people. But originally, I didn't believe it until I started watching some of these shows that, like the Skinwalker Ranch and what's the other one I watch? That's a big one. And then the Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, and then, you know, the, what's the other one? I can't remember. Anyway, I mean, maybe we aren't. I mean, well, you know, of course, the release of the UFO files make a big difference, too. So, you know, the UFO files really made a lot of difference in my mind, because they keep showing us these files. Like the newest ones are scary because they, you know, they're already, I mean, they're showing so many things like this that, well, you can't really, like this, that you can't really tell. And like if you watch Skinwalker Ranch, they show a lot of these, I don't know what you want to call them, these blobs that move in ways that we can't move. And that's kind of strange, but it could be possible that we do see these things. And there's just too many of them to ignore, and too many similarities between the ones and the other ones. So I don't know. I just know that things that I see, I have to really start thinking about is possible to actually be real. So I don't want to believe it, but oh, here's that declassified. Yeah, right here. I found it. Yay. Took me all day to figure out where it's at. I knew there was one. Now it won't come up. Come on, open up. There we go. Yeah. I mean, there's too many of them to think that they don't exist. So open that to the big, there you go. So this, oh, I don't want to see what he has to say. Skip him. Get past him. That's a sketch. So, I mean, the thing is that there's just too many things that could, I mean, could possibly be, I mean, these, what is it? They are UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. So, I mean, what is that? It's hard to say what it is, and you know, here we go. The wars, the Department of War is in lockstep with President Trump to bring unprecedented transparency regarding our government's understanding of UAPs. These files, hidden behind classifications, have long fueled justified speculation. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know if they exist. But I'll tell you, some of the things that I've seen on video, you can't ignore it. It just happens. We see them, and they're out there somewhere. So, we'll never, I won't say we'll never know. The release files available in the Department of Defense website include documents, sketches from nearly 2 decades ago, such as the July 2008 report of a UFO sighting at Harare International Airport in Zimbabwe, as well as recent cases such as orb sightings in the Northeast. The orb sightings are just crazy because it's not just going in one direction. They'll go, they like can make an instant turn that is just, we can't do that. I mean, we just don't have the technology that does that. That's why I'm amazed by it and really confused by the fact that they even exist, because it violates all the things that we've been taught as the way that things move. It's crazy. Okay, I want to make sure I mention this too, because singer Bonnie Tyler was in a coma. She came out of a coma, but very unwell. Shows have been canceled through August. She's in Portugal. She came out of a coma after surgery in Portugal. And so who knows? She was in a coma. I don't know how long she was in a coma, but I remember hearing about this. Singer Bonnie Tyler is no longer in a coma, but remains very unwell in intensive care. As an update from her official website says, the gravely voiced Grammy-nominated pop star, 75, was hospitalized last month in Portugal, where she lives, for emergency intestinal surgery. She was later placed into an induced coma. So, yeah, that's kind of weird. She is no longer in a coma, and although her condition is improving, it's a slow process. Her doctors remain confident that she will make a good recovery, but it's going to take time. Tyler shows are scheduled through August were canceled or postponed, but we're still hopeful that our shows in the autumn will go ahead. Tyler's best known for the 1980s power ballad Total Eclipse of the Heart. Coal miner's daughter, blah blah blah, from Wales. I thought she was from the U.S. So she's from Wales. Okay, I didn't know that. Interesting. And I didn't know that Total Eclipse of the Heart was written by Meatloaf's Jim Steinman. I didn't know that either. I knew he wrote for other people, but I didn't know that she was one of them. So that was interesting. All right, we'll do. Here's a new video game. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not right. That's the wrong one. Peruvian police dress up as World Cup mascots for a drug bust. They dress like mascots to arrest a drug suspect and diehard football fan in Peru. 2 Peruvian police officers disguised as World Cup mascots. You can't make this stuff up. I guess the mascots are Clutch and Maple. Helped to arrest a suspected drug dealer in Lima. The latest in a series of law enforcement operations in a country involving officers using creative costumes to apprehend accused criminals. Colonel Carlos Alcantara, head of the Green Squadron, a unit that combats common crime, said they captured Carlos Cabrera, 48, with the help of 2 undercover agents on Thursday during the opening match of the World Cup between Mexico and South Africa. Thanks to intelligence work, we realized this person was a diehard football fan and was caught up in the World Cup fever. Although we decided to disguise personnel as World Cup mascots so we could approach him without raising suspicion and apprehending him. 2 officers in mascot costumes used metal sledgehammer to break down the door to enter with colleagues. Police posted video of the raid. If I were arrested by a freaking mascot. Oh, man. That's just unheard of. To be arrested by a bird and whatever he is. Clutch and Maple helped to arrest him. That's funny. Okay. Clutch is a bald eagle representing the United States. Maple is a moose representing Canada. Mexico is symbolized by a jaguar named Zayu. Oh,
Oh, man. What's this world coming to? You can't even go to the World Cup without being arrested. That's crazy. Oh, man. That's funny, though. All right, so now we can't trust mascots anymore. All right, let's see here. Gene-modifying therapy sees lupus patients in remission. So that's kind of cool. Wonder if the mascots come with that, too. Lupus patients in England in remission after pioneering NHS trial of GM therapy. Doctors say therapy that genetically modifies a person's T cells could offer cure for chronic autoimmune disease. 5 lupus patients in England are in remission after being treated with a revolutionary therapy that genetically modifies their own cells, and a medical breakthrough that could offer people a cure. CAR, which is chimeric antigen receptor T-cell therapy, involves removing a type of white blood cell, also called a T lymphocyte, which are crucial for hunting out infected or damaged cells and engineering them to spot and destroy disease. The T cells are then fed back into the patient via an infusion to reset their immune system. The therapy is already revolutionizing cancer treatment. Now medics in London have successfully used the technique to effectively cure 5 NHS patients with severe lupus aged between 19 and 50. That's very cool. It's nice to see that kind of thing, actually work. All right. Let's see. Minnesota woman saved from quicksand. Quicksand like mud pit after several days. That's kind of weird to see that in Minnesota. 2 friends found Catherine Wussner, 68, in a wooded area, almost completely submerged in a mud puddle. A woman has been rescued from a mud pit in Minnesota after becoming trapped for several days. On June 6th, 2 friends, Adam Sandbeck and Mike Gravelin, were riding their all-terrain vehicles through a wooded area near Bacchus and Hackensack in northern Minnesota when they discovered Catherine Wussner, 68, almost entirely submerged in a mud puddle. According to Sandbeck and Gravelin, Wussner, who had not been seen last seen on 3 June, told them she had been trapped in the mud for several days. She said her vehicle had become stuck, and while attempting to get around it, she slipped and fell into the puddle about 2 feet deep. Before she was found, Douglas County Sheriff's Office had already sent out an endangered missing person alert for Wussner, noting that she does not have any personal belongings with her, and her medical conditions that raise concerns about her safety. Speaking to Care 11, I guess that must be the TV station, Gravelin said the area had been flooded following a recent storm. As they drove deeper into the woods, they came across this van in the middle of nowhere that had no real off-road capabilities to get there, but somehow it did. Sandbeck recalled the moment the pair spotted Wussner, saying, "We could see that there was a body in the puddle next to the van, and that's when it got real. When we walked up, we thought she was dead. We thought she was just a body, and then she whispered, 'Help me,' and it scared the crap out of me. As you could see, she was just around the, all you could see was just the round part of her face, like her mouth, her lips. She couldn't even see her ears. It was all submerged, and the two men quickly pulled her from the mud. Later, she described the puddle as quicksand-like, and she couldn't get out. Jeez. After rescuing her, an effort took less than half an hour. Sandbeck and Graflin called 911. Paramedics were dispatched to the scene, and Wassner was transported to a local hospital. That would be a weird way to die. In the United States, I wouldn't expect to see too many places like that that you have to worry about getting out of the water, or I should say the swamp. So, all right. I guess that'll be it. I guess I will call it quits here. Hopefully we'll see Doug next week. And we would have seen him here. That would have been great to see him here, because he was planning on coming in to the studio. But it didn't happen that way, so. All right. I guess that's it. Thank you for listening in. I hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed something. And if you weren't careful, you might have learned something. I don't know. I'll talk to you next week, and gotta see what I'm doing here. How does this work? I think I just copy that over there. What are we doing? Okay, then that. Hit that. I think. All right. Talk to you later, and have a good week.